Olivia Carter, the chief executive officer of Sterling Peak Finance, had built one of the fastest-growing financial companies in the United States through discipline, intelligence, and the fearless ability to make difficult decisions. Every minute of her schedule was planned weeks in advance. Nothing in her life was left to chance. That morning, she arrived at a branch of First Capital Bank in Denver for what was supposed to be an ordinary meeting before flying to Texas to finalize a $1 billion investment. She expected documents, handshakes, and a quick departure. Instead, she walked into a moment that would forever change the way she judged people. The bank lobby was busy, but calm. Small business owners discussed loans near the reception desk. Elderly customers waited patiently for their turn. Employees smiled as they greeted regular clients. Near the back of the lobby sat a man who barely attracted any attention. His faded brown jacket was stained with oil. His work boots were dusty, and his rough hands showed the marks of many years of physical labor. Beside him sat a little girl, about 7 years old, quietly drawing in a notebook while hugging a small teddy bear. Olivia glanced at them only briefly before looking away. They seemed like an ordinary father and daughter waiting for a bank appointment. Yet something about the man felt different. Although he looked tired, his posture remained straight. Every few moments, his eyes moved calmly across the room. Not nervously, but carefully. He noticed every entrance, every security camera, every emergency exit, and every reflection on the polished marble floor. Then he would look back at his daughter and smile warmly. Olivia wondered why a man who looked like a mechanic had such sharp awareness of his surroundings. Before she could think any further, the bank doors suddenly burst open. 4 masked men dressed in black tactical gear stormed inside with rifles in their hands. "Everybody stay where you are." The first gunshot thundered into the ceiling. Glass shattered. People screamed. Several customers dropped to the floor instantly. Others froze in complete panic. One robber rushed to the front entrance and locked it, while another swept his rifle across the room. Phones, wallets, everything on the floor. Now. Olivia slowly lowered herself beside a marble column, trying to remain calm while her heart pounded violently in her chest. Around here, people cried, breathed, and trembled. Only one person remained strangely calm. The single father. He gently placed one hand on his daughter's shoulder. Without raising his voice, he whispered, "Do you remember what we practiced?" The little girl nodded immediately. She crawled under the nearest customer service counter, exactly as she had been taught. She hugged her teddy bear tightly against her chest, but she did not cry even once. Olivia noticed something that unsettled her. Children usually panic during emergencies. This child, however, trusted her father completely. One of the robbers noticed the movement and aimed his rifle straight at the man. "You. Stay right where you are." The father slowly raised both hands. "We're staying calm," he answered evenly. There was no fear in his voice. No anger. No challenge. Only quiet confidence. The robber stared at him for a second before turning away to control the other hostages. From the other side of the lobby, Olivia could not stop watching the father. His breathing never changed. His eyes kept moving. He was counting the robbers. Measuring the distance between them. Studying how they communicated. Noticing which one looked nervous and which one gave the orders. That was not the behavior of an ordinary mechanic. That was the behavior of a man trained to stay calm when everyone else lost control. Meanwhile, the robbers forced the bank employees to empty the cash drawers into large bags. Another criminal ordered the branch manager to open the secured offices. The leader kept checking his watch. "We have 5 minutes. Move." Outside, faint police sirens echoed somewhere in the distance. Inside, the tension grew heavier with every passing second. Then an elderly customer sitting near the father suddenly began struggling to breathe. "My inhaler," the old man whispered desperately. I need my inhaler. The robber watching the hostages immediately pointed his rifle at him. I said nobody moves. The father looked directly at him. If he can't breathe, he will die. So what? The robber snapped. If he dies, this stops being just a robbery. It becomes a homicide investigation. The robber hesitated. The words reached him. Finally, he growled, 30 seconds. The father moved slowly. He took the inhaler from the pocket of the old man's coat and helped him take several deep breaths before placing it back. No tricks, the robber warned. You asked for calm, the father replied quietly. I'm helping you keep everyone calm. Even the robber seemed unsure how to answer. Olivia could no longer look away from him. Everything about the man pointed to hidden experience. His movements were efficient. His emotions stayed under control. He never acted recklessly. He never wasted energy. Suddenly, another customer, overwhelmed by fear, bolted toward the front door. One robber fired a warning shot. The frightened man slipped on the polished floor before reaching the exit. Two armed men rushed after him, leaving only one robber to guard the hostages. Their formation had broken. The father noticed it instantly. For a brief moment, his eyes met his daughter's beneath the counter. She gave him the smallest nod, as if she already understood exactly what her father was about to do. Olivia felt her heartbeat quicken. She did not know who this quiet single father truly was, but every instinct told her that the next few seconds were about to reveal a truth no one in that bank could have imagined. The moment the robber looked away, the single father moved. It was not dramatic. It was not reckless. It was precise. He grabbed the robber's wrist, twisted the rifle upward toward the ceiling, and drove his shoulder into the man's chest. The weapon crashed to the floor and slid across the marble before anyone fully understood what had happened. Get down, the father shouted. Olivia reacted immediately. She pulled two terrified customers behind a thick marble counter just as another robber opened fire. The bullets struck the columns instead of people. Using the counter as cover, the father slid across the polished floor, kicked the fallen rifle farther away, and smashed a heavy chair into the knee of the second armed man. The attacker collapsed, giving the nearby customers enough time to crawl to safety. The remaining two robbers realized they had lost control. Grab hostages, one of them shouted. But the panic had shifted. It no longer belonged to the innocent people. It now belonged to the criminals. The father picked up the abandoned rifle, removed the magazine with one quick movement, and threw both pieces in opposite directions. Jube already lost, he said calmly. Don't make this worse. The sirens roared outside. Red and blue lights flashed against the glass entrance. Hearing the police closing in, the robbers ran toward the exit, only to find armed officers surrounding the building. Within seconds, they surrendered. Silence slowly returned to the bank. Customers stood up one by one, still trying to believe what they had just witnessed. Olivia walked toward the father, who was kneeling beside his daughter, checking to make sure she was not hurt or too frightened. The girl wrapped her arms around his neck. I knew you would keep everyone safe, she whispered. He smiled gently. I promised, didn't I? Olivia looked at him with open admiration. You stayed calm when everyone else was terrified. How? The man paused before answering. Years ago, I served in an elite special operations unit. After I lost my wife, I left that life behind. My daughter doesn't need a hero. She needs a father. Olivia nodded silently, deeply moved. Today, she said, you were both. 1 week later, the bank held a ceremony to honor the brave customers and the police officers who responded. But the loudest applause belonged to Daniel Brooks, the quiet single father who had never searched for recognition. When reporters asked why he had risked his life for strangers, he simply smiled and took his daughter Lily by the hand. My little girl was watching, he said. Children do not learn kindness from our words. They learn it from our choices. The crowd fell silent for a moment before erupting into applause once again. That day, Olivia Carter understood something no financial report had ever taught her. True leadership is not measured by wealth, titles, or power. It is revealed in the moments when fear tests a person's character. And the greatest heroes are often ordinary people who quietly choose to protect others without expecting anything in return. Daniel Brooks left the bank with no reward except the proud smile of his daughter. And to him, that was worth more than all the money in the vault.